Hi, good evening, everybody. We did have some of our grandparents were able to be with us while we slowly went into young adulthood. I had a grandmother that passed away recently, and she lived to be about 90 years old. And one of the biggest things that I had seen with her generation is essentially a lot of isolation. And this definitely messed with their mental capacity and then their emotional state, where they are suffering from depression or even eating disorders. So it is something that does mean a lot. So I do think, honestly, my grandmother would have lasted or lived longer without those emotional effects of depression and isolation. So I wanted to see what we can do as young adults, or our generation, for the older generation that's out there facing these problems. So we're looking at something called the Care Network, the Care Connect social network. And this is something that's going to build real connections across generations. So real connection does matter. Not only does this matter to the older generation, but this also matters to us. We essentially are in front of screens all day long. We don't make any actual connections unless we are at work. And in most cases, everybody's plugged in, they have their headphones in, they're essentially locked in is like a big term, when we all just need to go out and spend at least 30 minutes a day to touch grass, to kind of get away from just spending all of our time kind of disconnected, and just kind of in front of this light that's not essentially really good for us. And not even just that, while we're doing this, just down the street or in your neighborhood, you have the elderly people who don't talk to anybody all day long. So they're going to be something that are developing these mental issues, these mental barriers, because essentially they're pretty isolated. And we'll talk about the isolation here. So isolation is a health issue, not just a feeling. For older adults, this loneliness and social isolation raises the risk of depression, anxiety, cognitive decline, and heart disease. As I mentioned in my personal experience, that I believe that my grandmother would have had a better life if essentially she had more people around her. And don't get me wrong, coming from a big family, we did have times where we were able to be around her as much as we could, but as I mentioned, we have our own lives, so a lot of us let this time go away, and we want to make sure that, or I myself want to make sure that this doesn't happen to everybody. So how can we pull together and make sure that this isn't an issue? We will also see some environmental barriers like aging with or into vision loss, and how that can make travel and community mobility harder. My grandmother didn't drive, so people had to come to her. And then this companionship that comes to them without navigating unfamiliar spaces makes it a little safer for them. So, us as our generation, we are surrounded by people but continue to be disconnected. We're constantly in front of screens, as I have mentioned. We have teenagers who are going to be experiencing higher anxiety, irregular sleep, and weaker social and emotional support, like COVID. COVID essentially was something that was detrimental to a lot of preteens, where they were not able to make human interactions and connections. So it did stump them for that time period, where they're unable to make meaningful in-person connection. Digital connection isn't going to go ahead and replace what relationships happen once you're face-to-face and you're building that rapport. The Care Connect is a simple face-to-face companionship. So what I mean by this is this organization is going to be something that will help, but not, you're not a care worker. So you will not be doing any medical or physical care, no housework or chores, no transportation or driving, so you're not liable for that. Just simple, safe companionship. We're talking about like conversation over coffee, a board game, or printed photos if you want to go over their memories. You might want to have like a walk outside. Some older people have gardens, sitting outside and the porch and just talking about life, or even just like going over things about their past. This is built on what brings people together. Research on community drop-in spaces shows that older adults from social ties and mutual support. Number one is comfort, relaxed, welcoming setting. People actually enjoy informal participation, no pressure, no formal commitment to show up. Visible access, easy way to find, easy to join in, and repeated contact. Regular low-pressure encounters build real bonds. Care Connect applies the same idea at a volunteer level, creating regular and relaxed chances to connect. 2 generations and 1 connection. For the older adult, a real visit can bring a moment of recognition, belonging, and routine, a reason to look forward to the week. And for us, our generation, it's a break from constant notifications and a reminder the community is built through presence, not just posts. So not just digital connection. So what this is going to take is essentially putting together or putting aside 2 hours a month. Put the phone away, put it on silent, sit with someone who may have waited all week for a real conversation. Often show up, open the volunteer interest card in our class forum and complete it today. Commit to just 2 hours a month of real conversation with an older adult who needs companionship. A stronger community is built through human networks. Stop scrolling long enough to become a connection your neighbors have been missing. I want to thank you so much for taking time to hear me. I hope this is something that you're interested in.